That will look great on you. Every time you shop here, you have the power to change lives.
Does she work here?
No, she's just a proud supporter of Goodwill. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Veronica Brandon Miller and this is Goodwill, Minnesota's Tell Me Something Good, the show that shares the good that's happening in our community. And yes, there is a lot of good. And I want to remind you, if you want to continue hearing good things, tune in to WSRQ today at 11 o'clock and we will be sharing even more good news. But wait, make sure you look at the latest issue of Suncoast Living, and we will also be featured and telling you some of the great stories about what's happening in our community. But the next few shows, actually, the next 5 shows are totally dedicated to the Giving Challenge. And if you know what the Giving Challenge is, it'll start September 20th to the 21st, noon to noon. And as you can see, we have 2 amazing sponsors. We have Cool Today and Good News Pest Solutions who are supporting us and matching your gifts that you donate to us, hopefully, during the Giving Challenge. Again, September 20th through the 21st, noon to noon. And our theme is Be Cool, Do Good,
and be the one.
And be the one. So with that, why don't we start the show? So, like I said, the next 5 shows will be totally focused around our partnership, Goodwill, Minnesota, with the Florida Center for Early Childhood. And with the partnership, we want to showcase 5 of our amazing programs so you get to know more about us and want to help and support us. So with that, I'm going to introduce with Goodwill, Minnesota, besides myself, we have the Vice President of Mission, Margie Genter.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad you're here. And also with the Florida Center for Early Childhood, we have the Vice President of Marketing, Michelle Moreno.
That's right.
You know, I always want to give you like a flair in your name. And then also the Director of Developmental Therapy Programs, right?
Yes.
Kim Williams. So,
yes. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm so glad you guys are here. And the program that you want to talk about today is what?
Our developmental therapy program, and Kim's going to tell you all about it and some of our success stories that we've experienced recently and over the past over 35 years.
Wow.
So the developmental therapy program encompasses a number of different disciplines. There's speech-language therapists, occupational therapists, behavior therapists, and an infant-toddler developmental specialist. And all of the skills that they can teach are to help children acquire their developmental milestones so that they can be successful in school, at home, in the community, and hopefully, when they're a bit older, be productive in the workforce. What's most important, though, is that we really need our families to be involved in our services. And without them, the children, really can't achieve the optimal success that we'd like them to achieve. So we have some great parents on board. We have a number of success stories, and whether it's a single area of success, like they've come in and they were nonverbal and now they're talking, or they had some sensory processing difficulties where they take incoming information through their senses and they're not quite normal in that yet. They're hypersensitive to sound or hypersensitive to sight and touch, and we work with them to normalize it, amongst many, many other difficulties that they can have. We then have children that have multiple issues, so they're across all the disciplines that we work with. And so those are some of our biggest success stories, and we do have one young man that came to us that was just totally new, coming to our preschool that we work very closely with the Starfish Academy. And he was coming into school, had never really been away from home, so that was the social emotional piece and kind of that attachment with his family, and now coming into a new family of educators. And he had some feeding issues, he had communication issues, he had sensory processing issues that I talked about. And He has worked through, he's been with us a year. He's returning this August. But now he's socializing with his peers, he's communicating a little bit, beginning to use some first words, and he's eating all by himself. And his parents have just been tremendous advocates, not only for him, but for all of the families that we work with. So it's really been a win-win because we've been able to work with her and teach her a lot of things to help him, and then it's then taught her how to advocate for him, and then she's helped us help other parents be good advocates. So that was one of our biggest success stories this year.
So how does a family reach out to the Florida Center knowing what you have? Is it the schools? Is it...
So families can come to us through a variety of ways. They can, oftentimes they find us through their pediatrician. So their pediatrician is saying something's not quite right, they're not developing typically, and how can we look for help in the community? And so the pediatrician is referring the family to the Florida Center often. Sometimes it's parents just saying something's a little different about my child from the children in our family or in our community. And so the parent is bringing their child or giving us a call, and then we're helping with an evaluation and helping them get connected to the right support services within the Florida Center or in the community. If we're not able to help a family with a particular situation, we're very happy to refer them to another community partner to get the help that they need. And it's important to remember that the kiddos we're serving are anywhere from birth until their 8th birthday.
Okay. So is it after school? What is it?
Go ahead.
The hours are from 7:30 to 5:30 in the program, and then we do have some hours beyond 5:30 that we've worked out for parents, like after-school children. So some of the staff is staying till maybe 7:30. It's kind of on an individual basis, talking to parents. So we try to accommodate the children that are in school already, not preschool, but the elementary school, so they can come after school.
Okay, so they go to school. I'm just trying to do the whole scenario for somebody. Then they come to the Florida Center, and I've been to your facility. It's fabulous, and including the sensory room. So that's when you bring the parents in, so they can observe what we take for granted. Could be, like a little flicker in the light, or just the sound of an airplane going by. Just those things that you know what it is. But when you're a child learning these developmental things, it helps prepare. So the parents are in the room?
The parents, we basically have an open door policy. So we try to really encourage them to come on back, into a therapy room. And many of them do. Many of them do. And then we also, at the end of a session, if they've come back, obviously they've been learning all along the way. If they've chosen to wait in the lobby, or even maybe one of those 2 sessions a week, then we offer them ideas and activities that we've done at home. And then at the end of each quarter, we even ask parents to write down what they've learned, so that we can kind of monitor that what we're teaching them, they really are taking home and trying activities at home. So that's been really helpful for us to monitor how well we're doing. And then with the classroom children, we're able to push in and kind of send the therapists into the classrooms, so that even though they might be targeting a particular child, they're also involving the other children, mentoring and coaching the teaching staff. And again, it's like a win-win because everybody's working together. But it's just what I think is so fabulous about the program and the agency as a whole, from my experience, is that we have the opportunity to work with everyone, not just our department. We work with the teachers, we work with the mental health counselors, and the parents are right in the middle of that team. So, it's just a real push to have family involvement so that everybody can talk about the child. Everybody brings something to the table.
What happens when it's a single parent, and obviously they have to work? Is this when you're saying you stay later, or you try to accommodate?
Yeah, we say, we'd really like you to have opportunity to engage, in therapy. What's the best that would work for you? Can you come at a lunchtime? Do you need to come after work? And then we try to shift things around to accommodate them. Yeah. And they've done it. We have had parents do that, so it's worked out.
And many of our parents report that things are better at home after their child is learning how to manage their environment, or learning how to communicate better, or eating, or this little guy's mother shared with me that he was often just isolating himself, going off into his room. He's only 2 years old, remember? So a 2-year-old who wouldn't play with them. That's what they had at home, and this little guy is on the autism spectrum, and so there were a lot of things happening in his little mind, with lots of emotions and lots of things to deal with. And she's really excited because now, after a year of therapy and working with teachers and therapists, he's playing with them and they're enjoying their child, and that to me is the most important.
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you can involve everybody. Not that I want to use the example of my dog, but when my dog was doing potty training, it was really important for me to be there so I can continue all the lessons.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm trying to relate it to myself.
I get it.
Okay, good. But it is important that they hear it here, they hear it at home, so they can feel comfortable in their environment. And you said you're working with the teachers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is an amazing program. What would happen, I mean, if you guys weren't here?
So what happens is this very same family has shared with us that it's a mother and a father, and they're both working. And so without the support of the Florida Center and those amazing programs that are really working with their son and them, that they wouldn't be able to work. And so if they weren't able to work, then, you know, there's all kinds of
additional stress on the family.
Stresses on the family, and the child's not getting better and not seeing success. So, so yeah, without the Florida Center, kiddos and families would not be getting the help that they need to be successful. And we're really preparing these kids, the children who come to us, for kindergarten, and we always say and beyond, because the skills they're learning to sit and attend, or to handle their emotions, are really going to make a difference when they get to kindergarten, so that they can learn to read and write. And so we're really focused on that social emotional development in the early years.
And the other thing that's really helpful is that we have so many funding streams that we accept that it kind of leaves, you know, the parents with a lot of opportunities to be part of our program.
And at the same time, there's still a gap. And that's why participating in the Giving Challenge and things like this are so important to us, because in spite of all those different funding streams we accept, there's still a gap. Because
there's always more children that you couldn't reach.
There's more children, and the children have needs beyond what the funding allows. And so those are the times when support from our community partners becomes critical.
So you heard that. So again, the Giving Challenge is September 20th through the 21st, noon to noon. And when you make a donation to either Goodwill or the Florida Center, Cool Today and Good News Pest Solutions will be matching dollar for dollar. So we love our friends at Cool Today. Thank you, Jamie DiDomenico, for everything you do. And then also Dean Burnside from Good News Pest Solutions, another great company that said, hey, I believe in both of your missions and all the amazing work that you do, so
let's do good.
Let's do good. And we, exactly, and that's why I want you to be cool and do good and be the one. So with your donations to help advance this program for the Florida Center, they can reach more children. They can go more in depth with, you know, additional programs. And, you know, I always say this, call Michelle. She would love to give you a tour. Call Kim. I mean, just come and it's your investment. So if you're going to help support an organization, go reach out to them. See exactly where the money is going. Go on the giving profile, so that shares the 990, which is our tax form, and find out exactly where the money's going, and success stories. We want to hear success stories. So, and you know, talking about success stories, come visit Goodwill. Margie and I will also take you on a tour.
Yes, we will.
And Margie's here to talk about one of our programs. When I saw what you were going to talk about, Margie and I sat back and said, the Good Partner Program is pretty much kind of the same aspect.
There's some similarities for sure.
So why don't we talk about the Good Neighbor Program? Or
Okay.
Good, we have so many good stuff.
We do.
Good Partner
We do.
Program.
So a lot of people, Veronica, don't know that our Goodwill covers a 4-county area and that we actually employ 790 people. The cool thing about the 790 people is that 56% of them have a barrier to self-sufficiency. So maybe they have a disability, or maybe they're an ex-felon. Maybe they're an older worker, maybe they don't have a GED, maybe they're homeless. So the people that work at Goodwill have a lot of barriers to self-sufficiency, and that is where this Good Partner Coach program comes in. Every single person that works at Goodwill gets a life coach. For some of our team members, that life coach is there just to be sure they show up for work every day. Do they have reliable transportation? Do they have appropriate clothing to wear? Is there food at home? Those types of things.
Childcare.
Do they have childcare? Do they have transportation? All of the things that we take for granted that allow you not only to get to work, but stay at work and be focused on work. So the Good Partner Coach makes sure that those folks, these are people that would have had a hard time getting or keeping a job someplace else. We want them to keep this job, not only keep this job, but move on to the next thing on their career ladder. So their coach is there to be sure they have the resources they need. So I loved Michelle's success story, and I have one too. Can I tell you my story?
Absolutely.
So we had a young woman working at one of our stores. Her name was Tanya. She was new to the state. She had just gotten her high school diploma. She was living at home, and she had no idea what she wanted to do in terms of long-term goals. So she thought, well, I'm just going to get a job, and Goodwill was a good place to go since she had pretty limited work experience. And she got a job, and she was doing great. She met her Good Partner Coach, and they had a long talk about goals. And her coach said, so where do you see yourself in 5 or 6 years? And she said, I don't know. I know it's really important to me to have a job that's meaningful, but I don't know what I should do. So we have tools. We have an assessment that we can give people. It's a combination of an aptitude and an interest test. So her coach suggested, why don't you just take that and see? Well, it turns out this young woman was interested in the nursing profession. And she seemed pretty bright, and it looked, from her aptitude scores, we knew that she could handle that program. And she said, I always wanted to be a nurse, but I don't think, I'm not sure that I could handle the coursework, and I know I can't afford to pay for it. So here's where the coach comes in with resources. We could tell from the testing that she absolutely could handle the coursework. And so her coach helped her fill out that FAFSA form. Ladies, are you familiar with that form?
Yes, ma'am.
It's brutal. And if you're 19 years old, you may need some help figuring that out. So her coach helped her with that. She ended up getting quite a bit of financial aid, selected the school that she wanted to go to, kept her job at Goodwill. And now, starting this month, she's going to be a full-time nursing student, and she'll work at Goodwill. So we see ourselves as helping people envision their future and getting there. Sometimes we have to start really basic with food and clothing and transportation. But this young woman has already moved out of her parents' home because she's earning a paycheck at Goodwill, and she has the financial assistance that she needs to go get that nursing career. So that's my story.
Well, I love the Good Partner Coach program. Like Margie said, everybody, including vice presidents, have a coach if you need them. But on many occasions too, yes, it's the simplest things that we take for granted. Yeah. It could be the food or the roof over your head, but sometimes just knowing that there's someone there that cares about you, that's when we find out you're in an abusive relationship. That's the first person that they feel confident enough to tell them, so that we can work with our partners around the community and make sure that they're in a safe location. Or you have a major disability, Goodwill will find a job that you can do, but at the same time help you advance your training. It could be that you don't speak English.
Right.
On the clock.
That's right. We have ESOL classes. That stands for English for Speakers of Other Languages, because many of the people that work at Goodwill, that's their barrier. So we provide those classes on site, and the person is on the clock, so they don't have to worry about after work when they're tired and should be at home feeding their kids. They're already there on site with us. They don't have to worry about losing income or paying for the classes, because Goodwill's done that. Same is true, Veronica, for people who want to get a GED or a high school diploma. We have both of those programs, and again, it's on the clock, and it's there on site, and that's
paid for.
And it's paid for. So that's a wonderful program. Can I tell you how we pay for the Good Partner Coaches?
Please.
I like to do that. So a lot of people don't realize that Goodwill is a not-for-profit and that the mission programs that we have are, for the most part, paid for through the sale of donated goods. So I was talking with Kim and Michelle, and did you know they both donate to Goodwill?
Thank you.
And they're Goodwill shoppers too.
Thank you so much.
We were talking about that. So anyone who donates articles, usable discards to Goodwill, anyone that shops at Goodwill is helping us pay for our mission. I think that's a really important part of the program too. We're self-funded. And it's the community and our donors that help us do that.
Yes, and also, when we say we're self-funded, we always need funding, and that's why we're talking about the Giving Challenge.
That's right.
So with the Good Neighbor program, the reason or the Good Partner program, that we're able to provide all this stuff is through having the revenue to pay, so they can take literacy classes on the clock, because many of the times they don't have that time after work or before work. They got to go home, take care of their kids, feed them, all that other stuff.
Right.
So really the only time that they have are when the kids are in school. So we try to be as lenient and cooperative as we can.
We try to make it easier for people.
Because it's all about having a good employee, which goes into good role model. So you want to talk about that too?
Yes, we have. We noticed that for a lot of our team members, the reason they haven't been able to keep a job is because their employability skills are not quite where they need to be. And now, so we're very fortunate. Our parents taught us things about being on time and being dressed appropriately and speaking respectfully to the supervisor. So not everybody gets that. So we have a program. It's called Goodwill Works. And it encompasses 21 different classes that help you become a role model worker. Mm-hmm. No one ever needs all 21. So we give folks a little assessment to determine how many of these classes, how many of these 21 areas would this person benefit from having a class in. So once we finish the assessment, we know which classes to send them to. They get to practice these skills. Their Good Partner coach will practice with them. The manager of their store will practice with them, so they're building those skills every day. At the end of the process, that's when the store manager does a little assessment too and says, not only does this team member demonstrate they have these skills on paper, but this is how they behave when they're at work too. So at the end of the process, we confer a very coveted gold badge. You get, so if you're shopping at Goodwill and you notice that the person you're talking to has a little gold badge on, then you can congratulate them on being a certified role model worker. And that's a portable skill. You can take that with you when you leave Goodwill, and you'll always have employment because you're going to have very strong employability skills.
And for a lot of folks who don't have that expertise or additional skills that they can beef up their resume, just having the classes that they've taken of our soft skills and that they've received a badge, that's a certification. So that's giving them even more reason why they could find another job. So what Goodwill is about is changing lives through the power of work, and that's what we focus on. And again, for the Giving Challenge, when you support our programs like the Good, why I keep wanting to give it a new name. It's a Good Partner Coach program.
We just have so many programs.
We have so many good stuff. What we can do is help our employees even more. And again, self-sustaining is what we try and
That's
provide.
right. That's right.
So, and for your program, just give it one more boost. So people first call Kim and Michelle for a tour, but also help support their program.
Because you want to be cool, do good, and be the one too.
Exactly. And the mission of the Florida Center is?
Absolutely. We're building strong families, one child at a time, because every one of our kiddos has a story when they come in, and we hope that what we provide for them while they're there changes their stories.
See? And again, you know, an investment is your donation. So even when you donate your clothes, which by the way, Goodwill, just want everyone to see.
Very nice. Very
I saw
nice.
it sparkly. Anyway, anytime you donate to Goodwill, like Margie said, we're able to take those donations and sell them in our stores, and that's revenue. So instead of just constantly writing a check, we actually accept your unwanted items. We will find the revenue from it.
Yes.
But during the giving challenge, just so we can talk about the logistics, if you've never participated in the giving challenge, again, September 20th through the 21st, noon to noon, you can go on either of our websites, Goodwill, Minnesota.org or FloridaCenter.org.
The Florida Center.
TheFloridaCenter.org. So either of our websites, and it'll have a link to the Giving Challenge. Make a donation, but again, you can actually see more additional programs that you're supporting. So,
Absolutely. Yep.
oh, and it has to be online. See, this is all online. Right? I have to make sure of that. I know.
It is.
What were you going to say?
Absolutely is. I was just going to add that you can be the one for one child. It only takes one person to help one child at a time.
Oh, that is so good. You can help one person at Goodwill too.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I was trying to make something really cute. But I do want to mention that the 2016 Giving Challenge is presented by the Community Foundation of Sarasota County, with giving strengthened by the Patterson Foundation, as well as support from the Manatee Community Foundation, John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, William G. and Marie Selby Foundation, and the Herald Tribune Media Group. So thank you to everybody who participates in this Giving Challenge. It is a wonderful opportunity for local organizations to help beef up their programs and find additional support. So I hope we can count on you to help us.
And they can follow us on social media too, right, Veronica?
Absolutely. So when you're on Facebook, go on Be the One, because we want you to be the one, and you can see exactly what's happening. And also, because we want you to be the one, we're having a sock hop. Yes, that's going to be awesome. So I'm wearing my pink ladies jacket, a little poodle skirt, and it's going to be September 13th. But that information is, go to experiencegoodwill.org or Be the One on Facebook, and we can share additional information with you. So anyway, it's been a pleasure to have everybody on here. And again, the next 4 shows after this, we'll be talking about additional programs that the Florida Center and Goodwill, Minnesota provide, and hope, again, that we can count on you to help support our program. And of course, we want you to be cool,
do good,
and be the one. Anyway, thank you for sharing your Sunday with us, and enjoy the rest of your day.